Good morning, everyone. I figure I can go ahead and get a video in when it's still pretty quiet in my house. About the only quiet time I'm going to get. It has been raining since 5 this morning, thunder and lightning, and it has kept me up pretty much ever since. Let's talk about my Ozempic use. So, I've explained that I've had four shots. I'm on my fourth shot, and my fifth one, which will be this coming Friday. My first four injections were at 0.25 milligrams, and of course, any after that, it's going to be at 0.5 milligrams until I am completely off of it. At first, when I was told to to consider taking Ozempic, I was very against it. Very against. I had heard, about all the symptoms, vomiting, diarrhea, a potential for cancer, stomach paralysis, Ozempic phase, which I don't know what that is. But again, I was very hesitant. And being a cancer survivor, I would not, I guess you can say I'm not mentally, mentally, I don't think I can handle it if I were to give him that diagnosis again. I think I would be, kind of fall back in depression again. I mean, it's anyone who's been through it understands it's not easy to get to the other side of having a cancer-free diagnosis. It's a long, hard road. It takes a toll on the body for sure. But again, I was very hesitant. And I had seen two plastic surgeons after that because I was given the recommendation of needing a paniculectomy, which with severe lymphedema, it is considered as a medically necessary surgery, and my insurance will cover it. Of course, cosmetic, no, that would be all on me. And I just want to say this little side note because I know people are probably going to be watching these, and I'm just going to say I'm not a victim. I'm not a victim. A large portion of this I did to myself, but with the combination of the chemotherapy, depression, things like that. Of course, I again, I did a lot of it to myself, but then of course it's much harder to lose the weight after you've been pumped with so many steroids to fight cancer. Uh, and I went through chemotherapy for 6 months. But going back to the subject at hand, I went to two plastic surgeons and they both recommended it, and still I was very much against it. I heard about, again, like stomach paralysis and all that other stuff, and I was very adamant. No. So my nurse practitioner at the time prescribed Phentermine at 37.5 milligrams. And it was working. Um, I could go a lot longer between meals. I didn't feel, and again, it's also the mindset of, are you hungry or are you just satisfying the thought of, oh, I need to eat? Because again, I let my body be the one that says, my stomach be the one that says, hey, you need to get something to eat, and you don't need to overload, you just need to sustain. With but then I started seeing this new doctor. And of course, we had a long discussion, and he ended up being the doctor that he was great. He was phenomenal. But again, he brought up Ozempic, which I still had my hesitations, but we actually spoke of my hesitations where in the past, it was take it or we're not going to talk about it. So when we talked about it and everything, and he just says, you're not going to be on this forever. You're not going to be on it forever. So he says, and if you happen to have any symptoms that you're not comfortable with, come make an appointment. We'll get you in as soon as possible. Or if we can't, go to the hospital. First time I ever heard a doctor say that. A lot of other times it was just, well, yeah, you're going to experience symptoms. We'll make an appointment. We'll try to get you in. And of course, whenever you make an appointment, how soon are you really going to get it? Get in. I mean, let's be honest. So again, I told him, I said, I'm still hesitant, but I'm going to go with it. And okay, perfect. So he went ahead and did the prescription, insurance approved it. And I watched YouTube videos of how to give myself the injections, which of course, they have a needle you can place onto the pin, and you want to inject yourself once a week on each side. So that way, you don't have bruising or any kind of swelling or anything of that nature, which I haven't experienced any. My only symptom so far, and this is between injection 1 and injection 3, I had some upper abdomen tightness, which after I explained to my doctor the symptoms, he said, well, he goes, it sounds like it's gastral. So he says that will eventually start to go away, which it did. It did. There was at one point where I had gotten very sick, but also it could have been some food poisoning because it happened within just hours of having a light lunch at a local restaurant. So I don't hold me to that. Let me also say that I'm not against modern medication. I'm not, because there's actually a lot of healing power. I'm sure there's been a lot of research. But I also take herbal supplements, which that's something I'll discuss with you later. But it helps. It definitely helps. I take a plant-based multivitamin. I take that once a day. I also take multi-minerals like sea moss, shilajit, black seed oil. It's this one with the combination pills, of the multi-mineral, which I could definitely tell the difference. And I would recommend to anybody you do the same thing. I would definitely recommend it. But yeah, so far that's been pretty much it. And I could certainly tell I can go a lot longer between meals, but then also it's, like I said before, it's the mindset. How long can you go between meals? If you eat your breakfast at like I do about 6 in the morning, well, if you can go, are you truly hungry at 12 o'clock for lunch? A lot of times I'll go till 1, 2, maybe even 3 o'clock. Before okay, my stomach is telling me you're hungry. Not a trigger in your mind saying, it's 12 o'clock, it's time to eat. So listen to your body, for sure. And I understand the hesitation, because I was on that same boat. But also there is something that was brought to my attention doing my research, and I looked at YouTube, talked to friends, I read information on it as much as I could, because after being recommended to take it so many times, I kind of started looking into it. For the people that use it solely for weight loss, I do understand. I mean, for sure, understand. But if you only need to lose like 10, 15 pounds, Ozempic was not meant for you have to understand that the study research was not done basically for just a simple form of weight loss. If you have 10 pounds to lose, well, you can shed that 10 pounds. You could shed it easily if you wanted to. If you really look at what was in front of you on what's on your dinner plate, what do you have a bad habit of drinking Cokes on like 3 or 4 Cokes a day on a daily basis? Do you consume a lot of sugar, a lot of high starch, a lot of, you know, you can look at, what you eat and go, hey, I could reduce this. I can eliminate this. And you can drop that 10 pounds pretty easily. But those study researches were for people with diabetes, and say if they're heavy, uh, on the heavy side, that's why it benefits that group the most. Um, I mean, and again, I'm not here to shame. I'm not here to judge or anything like that. To each his own. But you have to understand, if you're going through, I think the biggest thing is, like I heard, was that people were getting what they call Ozempic face. But if you were already thin and you think you're going to lose like 10, 20 pounds and you get on Ozempic, okay, I mean, basically, it's when you lose the weight, the face, you can lose it in the face, you can lose it in the body, but when you lose it in the face, everything sags. Everything sags. That's why you get the Ozempic face. I mean, in my opinion, on my doing my own research, and tell me if I'm wrong. I'm an open book. I like to learn. But that study was done for people with not only diabetes, but for people who are heavy set, who need to lose the weight. It helps them in both aspects. But I'm always going to encourage talking to your doctor, asking questions. Don't be afraid to ask the questions. Also, talk to him about proper dieting. Just don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to do your own research. And if you want to share your stories on your Ozempic use or your diet goals, let me know. Just comment, share, and like, and hopefully we could share this with the world. Thanks. Have a good one.